Imagine innocently filming your child and capturing a ghost boy in the video.
You said there's 69 different types of extraterrestrials.
Well, that they knew of in 1960s. There may be many more now.
Watch this.
One just said that if your car has a computer, your car's computer can be hacked into. And if your car is hacked into, someone other than you can control your car. Now I need you to see how random this car accident is. And I'm quite sure that the Lexus SUV that he was driving was definitely controlled by a computer.
Man, what's good with the collective? Y'all know we back with another banger, another reaction. I appreciate everybody who been tapping in, running up, and subbing up. If you new to the channel, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you always notified whenever we drop them uploads. Y'all know we coming with about 4 videos every smooth 7, and this is for entertainment purposes as well. And when you like and comment and subscribe to the channel, helps collective grow, helps collective get bigger, helps more people who like this type of content tap in with this content. But I appreciate you if you're watching on your TV, whatever the case is. I wish it was smooth 7. Might be a trigger warning or 2. I hope not. But I did have to go ahead and say, before we close out the year, if you celebrate it or not, Happy New Year. The real calendar is like April 1st is the real New Year's. But if you celebrating right now, be safe, enjoy, have fun. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. I'm playing. But give y'all something to rock out to. Something for y'all to go ahead and bring the new year into. 2025 was a successful year. Man, we coming back with 2026. This going into like going in 2.5 years, almost 3 years. 3 years since we built this channel. We building something special. I'm glad that y'all can find this as a safe space, somewhere y'all can come and enjoy and find like-minded people like yourself. So I'm thankful for y'all to be here for another year. Let's go ahead and get 2026 going. Just to go ahead and wrap up 2025. Y'all know we had a very successful year. We've been growing. We got big. We expanding. We built something special for everybody to have a little safe space to come to. Everybody to build with each other. I appreciate y'all. I love doing what we do. I love coming here with y'all, man. So, to finish 2025 out, let's go ahead and rock out, man. We're going to get going with 2026 tomorrow. I appreciate y'all, but I ain't going to hold you. Y'all know what it is. Let's get straight to the video, man. Let's go.
I grew my cat with my tongue like a mama cat would do to her kitten. Are you my good girl? She'll just like spread out on my arms. I'll just clean like her shoulders and her ears and the back of her head and stuff and her face. I don't get as involved as another cat would. I'm not licking her butt.
Shit. Oh, bro.
Hello. How are you?
Fine.
Okay. Hello, sir.
Hey.
Deputy Roland to the Sheriff's Office. How are you?
I'm alright.
Okay, so what's going on today?
Nothing. I just need to open this.
Okay. Well, we can't really do that. That's the church's property.
Okay.
Okay. So how'd you end up here today?
Because I'm Jesus.
Do you have some friends around here or something? I mean, for me to help you, you have to talk to me. Get back! 20, keep step up, 616, keep it over here. I got more people coming. He's on something. 20, how far out are you? Yeah, boy. So he's dove a couple, 3 times. He's fell backwards off the thing here. He's on something. Something or other. He ripped the crucifix thing off the top of the thing there. And that, he just went and grabbed one of these things here and kind of came at me a little bit, and I shoved him off, and then he hopped back up there, so. No, I haven't been able to get anything out of him whatsoever.
Stay away from me.
What's going on, man?
I'm Jesus Christ Almighty.
I'm back with the shirts. We're just trying to help you out.
Yeah, you're devil.
No, we're not the devil. The devil's not here, man. What's going on?
Sorry, backing up.
Damn. Bro done smacked his shit a couple times, bro.
So CERN and cracked that portal, man. Y'all know there's shit that we can't see between these 2 eyes, right? What y'all gonna say? That's some fireworks, nigga? What is that? That looks like an entity. Then think about, we was playing Minecraft. You had games like the Nether portal. They was already telling us like shit can spawn through portals. Like, you think it ain't all type of entities flying through that bitch?
What y'all think? Think she was really shapeshifting?
So when I was about 12 years old, my grandparents were in the house that they were in. About 6 years later, me and my friends, we didn't have anywhere to stay. And that house was vacant, so we started cleaning it out to move in. Well, me and my friend Colton are cleaning it out, and as I'm bringing stuff to the truck, I'm outside by myself and I hear kids laughing in the field. And there's no houses or anything back there. So it freaked me out a little bit, but I didn't say shit. So I go inside and Colton comes out with his load as I'm getting another one. So he runs into the house and he's like, dude, I hear kids laughing out there. And so that confirmed to me I wasn't crazy. Well, anyway, about 8 years later, my mom brings her husband out there. And so he's in the attic of the house while my mom's at the barn getting stuff to, move out. Well, anyway, he ends up running out of the house saying he heard a little girl laughing while he was in the attic. And he said the energy shifted too. He said it was real eerie. But anyway, that ended up confirming to me that there was a demon in the house, because if you watch any demon documentaries, demons always show up as children, especially little girls.
I want to hear more.
Okay, so I'm in the cockpit of a plane. This is getting brighter outside the plane.
And then it turns.
Where is it turning?
It stops.
Wait.
It stops position, and then it goes away.
What is that?
And then there's 2 more.
Where?
Right below it.
Where? Point to where there's another one. Oh, and now there's 2 more. So what is this?
I don't know, man.
Look at it. Bright, throbbing, and then wait, and then it went away.
I have a history book from 1903 that just admitted to the start of whitewashing American history. Within this period, too, there has been a gradual but constant shifting of the point of view from which the history of a country is regarded, and of the methods employed in teaching it. Descriptions of battles and of movements of armies have come to be considered of less importance, and the social conditions and industries of the people of far greater importance than they formerly were. I'd like to point out this is 1903. There has been no World War yet. The battles that they're referring to that they don't think are as important to talk about is going to be against Native Americans and the Civil War. And they make it sound like they're just not telling you, like, all the details of the plans, but they're not telling you how many people they killed. They're not telling you how they killed these people. They're not telling you how brutal it was. They're just telling you there was a war. That's all you need to know. There was a little tussle. That's all you need to know. And that was more than 100 years ago, so imagine all the shit we don't know now.
Hey, that's facts. What's y'all thoughts on that?
Imagine innocently filming your child and capturing a ghost boy in the video. At first I thought it was a doll until the dad gets scared and runs away.
Ha! Gotcha. Found you.
You can't catch me.
Hey, whoa!
To me, that clearly looks like a demonic child. You know the lore of the black-eyed children? It kind of looks like that. And what's crazy is that these demonic entities are known to pry on children. You can see that the child is not scared at all, because to him, it's his friend.
Man, that Pops need to go get that heat. I know that ain't gonna work, but
That's definitely where to go. You get him? My look. We get him? That's crazy. That was close. He almost got us that time. Dude, that's so crazy. No, he's back out there. You hear him? Come on. Come on, my little. We gotta get more ammo. Dude, there it is. Close. Dude, that's so close.
I gotta trim some of that out when he let it ring.
Did you know in 1991, on the Australian-Italian border, hikers found a body that looked like it had died just a couple of years ago while hiking up a mountain? It was 5,300 years. This body was so insanely preserved that hikers had assumed that it was a very recent death. This body was named Otizzi, who he had died from a flint-shaped arrowhead lodged in his shoulder and wounds on his face, suggesting a very violent and traumatic ending. He was around 45 years old, brown eyes, type O blood type. He was so well preserved, we knew all of this about him. Evidence of Lyme disease in his DNA. Now, fleeing up this mountain away from the people that were trying to kill him, he broke his ribs, nose, and other bones. He was found clinging to his dagger, a mangled hand implying a desperate standalone. He died, was frozen over, thawed, rolled down the mountain, and then preserved over the years in the ice. His lungs were coated in soot, showing that he was inhaling smoke in his final moments. The last meal in his stomach, which was mashed wheat and deer meat, was still half digested in his stomach. It was there. Evidence showing days before his death, multiple axe cuts on his hand, all the way through it to the bone, showed that he was struggling for days up until he died.
He says he was forced to make old food look fresh. That's why he secretly recorded his supervisor admitting tampering with best before dates is industry standard.
Every store does the same thing. All the other stores do the same.
At his home, Safari demonstrates what he says is done at work. He takes cheesecakes weeks past their best before dates, adds new toppings, and sells as fresh.
I decorate it, and I'm selling expired stuff for...
In a national online call-out, Marketplace hears from grocery workers at smaller stores and big chains, sharing stories of food tampering. He used to work in a Toronto area supermarket. He shows us how he was told to give old meat new life.
If it's like this, we would dabble in a little bit of blood, throw it into the meat mincer with some redder meats, and then all together it would make it look red. And then we put it back up on the shelf.
At the University of Guelph, a microbiologist simulated what grocery insiders told us they do. He discovered toxins and bacteria.
Man, these motherfuckers, they going too far, bro.
Epstein is who y'all tried to make us believe Michael Jackson was when he was making a ranch to save those kids. And I will never forgive y'all. And I want to make that clear. That is why they purposefully put a picture of Epstein, Diana Ross, and Michael Jackson in a photo that was proclaimed to be in the Epstein files, which was not. That is exactly why. Yeah, Neverland Ranch. The reason that Blanket was named Blanket because he had to hide his kids' faces. When he literally gave a tour of Neverland Ranch, proclaiming that it's for the children, to save the children. Who was he saving them from? Epstein Island. Because the fact of the matter is, Jeffrey Epstein had an island where people would come visit children to do explicit acts with. Bottom line, full stop, flight ticket and all. And the fact that it is being downplayed and Jeffrey Epstein is like a meme and a Simpsons joke. Do you not understand there were babies, children, and there is a big ploy we are not supposed to know about at all. But I am telling you 100%, I will never forgive y'all for what y'all did and said about Michael Jackson. When he was probably one of the children to that island by Diana Ross. And I will never forgive y'all because at the end of the day, Jeffrey Epstein is who y'all tried to make us believe Michael Jackson was. Case point, and it's closed.
I just found out that the reason why the algorithm is all messed up because the U.S. and Iran are about to go to war. Well, it was nice meeting all y'all.
Have you guys seen this video?
I'm Wanda June, and today was going to be my birthday. But I was hit by an ice cream truck before I could have my party. I'm dead now, and I'm in heaven. You see, that's why my parents didn't pick up the cake at the bakery. Oh, I'm not mad at the ice cream truck driver, even though he was drunk when he hit me. It didn't hurt much. It wasn't even as bad as the sting of a bumblebee. I'm really happy here. You know, I'm glad the driver was drunk. If he hadn't have been, I might never have got to heaven for years and years and years. I would have had to go to the high school first, and then to beauty college, and I would have had to get married and have babies and everything.
Beauty college.
Now I can just play and play and play. Everybody up here is happy. The animals, the dead soldiers, the people who went to the electric chair, and everything. Nobody's mad. We're all too busy playing shuffleboard. So if you think of killing anybody, don't worry about it. Just go right ahead and do it. Whoever you do it to should kiss you for doing it. Oh, the soldiers just love the shrapnel and the tanks and the bayonets. And the dum-dums that let them play shuffleboard all the time.
What the? What did I just watch there? What was that, guys? Was that circus? Carnival where they play shuffleboard? Was that heaven? Shout out to Jennifer for suggesting this clip. It's a doozy. Okay, so this is a play in the 1970s by Kurt Vonnegut called Happy Birthday, Wanda June. This play is basically about two men who enjoy killing and those who don't. What? I don't know about you, but I'm not sleeping tonight. Hi, I'm Wanda June. Ah!
Now, I ain't gonna say for YouTube's guidelines, just Google or just look up Nigeria. What happened in Nigeria recently? That's all I'm gonna say. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts on it. And the Wanda June, I could have sworn we've seen that before. It looks familiar, but it's not really ringing a bell. It just looks familiar. I don't know. If y'all remember us going over that, let me know. I don't remember going over that one, but it looks familiar though. Like I seen it somewhere. This shit give me the creeps though. Or you think they telling us something with what she's saying, or y'all think it's just like a far stretch or something else they getting at? Let me know.
Something don't seem right about the accident that happened with Anthony Joshua in Nigeria. Mind you, this is days after he beat Jake Paul. And we'll get back to that. But the person that was driving Anthony Joshua to wherever he was going on that expressway in Lagos has driven on that expressway numerous times, and he just randomly crashes into a truck. Mind you, two of this man's closest people lost their lives. They were in the same car as him. That could have been Anthony Joshua. That don't seem crazy to you? Now listen to this. Someone just said that if your car has a computer, your car's computer can be hacked into. And if your car is hacked into, someone other than you can control your car. Now I need you to see how random this car accident is. And I'm quite sure that the Lexus SUV that he was driving was definitely controlled by a computer. Now this is for entertainment purposes only. And I'm not saying that that happened because of that, but they just randomly crashed into another truck. Okay, let's go to Jake Paul. A lot of people feel that his matches aren't matches, if you get what I'm saying. I'm gonna say something else here for you. Look at this shit. And right now, a lot of people are saying that what if Anthony Joshua ain't go with the plan?
Alexa, how many days to Christmas 2026?
There aren't any Christmas holidays in 2026.
Wait a minute. Is this lady out her damn mind? She left her
Go
baby
past this
outside?
light, then at the next one, turn right.
These people out their mind, yo. These people really out their mind. These people, look at this. Whose baby? Is this your baby? Why did you leave this baby outside? Why did you leave this baby outside? Look at my car in the street. Why did you leave this baby outside? She got it, mommy. No, she don't got it. She don't got it. Somebody could take the baby. She's inside the f***ing store. Mommy, listen. The world is loco. Yeah, you can't do that. No, don't shake my hand. I don't want to shake your hand. Get your baby, yo. Get your baby. Get your baby. What is wrong with y'all?
Y'all know how it be. Y'all know how people be like, man, you know, it's a lot of people praying on your downfall. So what I need to be aware of all those people for? Man, it's a lot of people that don't like you. Why the f I need to care about the people that don't like me? So what? It's like people want to remind you of some negative shit to put you in a docile state. Yeah, let me tell him about all of this shit and this shit that people really feel about him, so he could sit there and start thinking about it and not gonna get nothing accomplished. Because that's usually what happens when you think about bullshit. When you thinking about people that's been talking about you behind your back, or people that's trying to tear down your empire, your brand. You don't need to think about them people. And a person that's telling you about that shit, you need to say them too. Because why is they even thinking about that? Why is that on their mind? You know, a lot of people that really can't wait to get rumors or certain things about you, and they ready to spread the information or spread that rhetoric. Stay away from them people too. I keep telling you about these energy vampires. One thing about these people, the only thing they know how to survive off of is this gossip and being able to tear down other people's legacy. You heard me? Boy, man, you know such and such said this. I don't give a f***. What is you telling me for? And why the f*** you know that? When they said what they said, what you said, you heard me? Did you agree with them? Did you go after them? Did you defend me? And if you didn't defend me, bitch, you just as bad as the people that you heard say it. We don't give a f*** about what nobody says about us come 2026. We letting all that shit, we leaving that shit in 2025. Everything got exposed this year. A lot of truth came out between, you heard me? We leaving that shit here. Bitch, if you not really building with a nigga, if you ain't really got nothing to add value, don't tell me about something that's taking away value. Niggas be so quick to test shit down and don't got nothing to add. Like, nigga, how about you bring 4 bricks to the house first? We're building a brick house right now. We're building an empire over here. You ain't come over here with no bricks, no concrete pouring, no nothing, nigga. You ain't come up here with no plumbing work, no electrical work. You ain't got nothing to add to the home, baby. Talking about what somebody else said. We don't give a f about what nobody else say. Every time you get involved into the rumors, into the gossip, I'm telling you, that pulls you back into that frequency. Now, next thing you know, you arguing about shit or being a part of some type of frequency that has nothing to do with progressiveness. Now you're not about to be successful that you was planning on doing. Do you know the negative thoughts is easily to take over the positive thoughts? That's why the world's so negative, you hear me? It's easy to be negative. It's easy to be negative. Negative thoughts take over the most powerful things. It's just true. That's alchemy, for real. Most people are negative, dog. Most people are docile, poisonous. Most people are sad, going through some shit. Most people are not courageous, brave, motivated, inspired. A lot of people are not like that, you hear me? Why the I listen to people who really not inspired to be something in life, and you telling me about some bullshit about my life? Bitch, you don't make no motherfucking sense, ho.
Man, leave it in 2025. Let's go.
Guys, I think that a UFO visited my parents' house last night. My dad sent me this recording of his Ring camera. This is like the front view of the house. This is last night at 3 a.m., Sydney, Australia. What is that just appeared in the sky? This is not fake. My actual dad sent me this. He did not use any weird doctoring. What is that? Somebody please tell me. And why is it just hot?
Well, you've said there's 69 different types of extraterrestrials.
Well, that they knew of in 1960s. There may be many more now.
Okay. And are these aliens from different planets or?
Yes, I'm quite sure they would be from different star systems because of the diversity of the biological form and size. I mean, some are 1.5 feet tall. Some reported to be 10, 12 feet tall. You know, to my knowledge, they're all bipedal, 2 arms, 2 legs, had sort of that form, but then a huge amount of variation within that form. And this would explain why some of those craft are very, very tiny and some very large. I mean, if you're a 2 foot, 3 foot tall being, you know, a 25, 30 foot diameter egg-shaped craft is kind of spacious, right? You know, it's like us being in something 60 feet, proportionally.
What are the size differences? I mean, are there like insect-sized aliens and giant, you know, I don't know, like whale-sized aliens? I mean, what's the range? Because it could technically be anything, right? I mean, because
yes,
like in our case, you talked about this in some of your interviews. Humans evolved from monkeys, right? And monkeys are warlike. Yeah. They kill each other. Right. They
organizing the troops
and so forth. But if you had a species that evolved from, let's say, dolphins or something like that aren't warlike,
right?
This might be an alien species that don't kill each other, and they don't understand why humans are each other all the time.
Right. They don't. They understand it. They just think that it's a shame we haven't evolved past it.
Right. So, in terms of the alien species that you're familiar with, what's the range? Are they all like little gray men, or are they just completely different?
Oh, no. They're totally different. And most of the ones that you see on the spooky covers of books and Whitley Street, those are ours. Those are our robotic fake aliens. Those are the CIA drones and robotic objects. And some, the really sophisticated ones are actually bio-nano machines where they have biological material and that's what they were using, the culture material from the cattle and animal mutilations was being used to make those very sophisticated fake aliens. And you know, there's a physicist that I know who worked on those programs, and I mean, it really sounds like Mingala or Stranger Things or something. But the strangest things are true, my friend. And so, in terms of my personal knowledge, I have heard of ones 1.5 feet or so tall to ones that range the upper end 30 to 40 feet tall.
30 or 40 feet.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's, pretty rare. And, depending on the planet and the gravitational and everything else. I mean, look, there are humans that have been 8 feet tall and there are humans that have been 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
So I think about the cosmos and how vast. I mean, it would make sense there'd be enormous diversity.
30 to 40 feet tall, boy, come on.
Ghost of the Golden Gate Bridge. It's one of the most recognizable, beautiful icons of the Bay Area, but it's also got a lot of death around it. So even in the 1930s, when they were building this bridge, several men lost their lives, 11 in total, and 10 men lost their lives in one day when a beam fell and went through the safety netting that was supposed to save them. The Golden Gate Bridge is also the site of the second most on record. So there have been more than 1,500. I think they actually stopped counting at one point. There were so many off of this bridge that they put safety netting and special phones near the bridge to stop people from killing themselves. There have also been numerous shipwrecks near the Golden Gate Bridge. In fact, they found a graveyard of 300 sunken ships near the Golden Gate Bridge at the Farallon Islands, and who knows how many people died. So here are the ghost stories that have been passed down through time. So people say they've seen apparitions walking up and down the bridge. These may be the suicide victims, perhaps the accident victims, because I'm sure there have been accidents there as well, and perhaps victims of the sunken ships. There's also a story that people have heard screaming in the fog that surrounds the Golden Gate Bridge. There is a story of a woman in white that has been seen on the Golden Gate Bridge. Some even say that she was actually wearing a bridal gown. So the story that I heard was that her groom never showed up to her wedding, and she was so distraught that she committed jumping off the bridge. People see her on the bridge, but when they approach her, she just disappears. A more obscure story that I found in only one source was that there is also a soldier that people have seen on the bridge. They believe that he lost his life on the sea. He was deeply in love with his wife, and so he is still seen roaming the bridge, perhaps looking to get back to his wife somehow. And then there's the story of the Siren of Baker Beach, which is not that far from the Golden Gate Bridge. And people have seen this woman, again, she's dressed in white, singing on the beach. They believe she may be another one of those people who committed suicide off the bridge, or she may have died in one of the sunken ships. Speaking of sunken ships, there are also ghost ships. So in 1853, a clipper ship called the Tennessee ran aground in the waters. And in 1942, several men on the USS Kennison actually saw the Tennessee go right by them. They said there was absolutely nobody on board, but they saw the wake, but nothing showed up on the radar, and then the ship just disappeared in the fog. So there have actually been several reports of ghost ships in the bay. So again, my name is Ying. I am the producer of the Haunted Bay paranormal documentaries. On our old episodes are on YouTube, new episodes are on Amazon Prime, and I also lead the Haunted Bay Ghost Tours. Our information is in my bio, and our website is thehauntedbay.com.
Y'all go run them up. Tell them I sent you. Shout out to them, man. I walked the Golden Gate Bridge. Nothing weird has happened. But Baker Beach is one of my favorite beaches to ever go to in the Bay Area. And if you ever been, is it because of the old barracks that's around that gives it that weird feeling? Is it the tunnels? Is it kind of because it's secluded? What is it that gives it that weird, eerie feeling? I still like going though. That's my favorite beach to go to in the Bay. Frisco to be honest. But also, when they used to say that the sea, our ocean levels are rising, that's the first place I started noticing it, because there used to be a cave all the way to the right side of the beach. There used to be a cave, and the water would just barely go up to it. And that was when I was in like 6th grade. Last time I've been, that cave is totally, you can't even get to it, bro. The water has taken it over. That's when I started noticing the ocean levels is rising. When I started going to that beach right there. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts, man.
Oh, I'm like shaking. I just had a download. I don't even know if I should say this shit. I just had a hold up, y'all. Okay, y'all, I need y'all to follow me. So, a couple of days ago, for some odd reason, this came across my For You page. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay. And it's these Nigerian people that's, in Antarctica. And she talked about how it was so warm in Antarctica that she had to keep changing her wardrobe. Is because she had, overly packed, and she was becoming warm. So then, like shortly after that post I just showed y'all, I seen another post where they were talking about the Nigerians trying to plant their flag in Antarctica so that they can, claim it as theirs, and that they will be legally bound because of things that's within the treaty that these people have on Antarctica. Twins. What if I told y'all What if I told y'all AI don't stand for artificial intelligence, but it stands for Antarctica ice? Bro, you know how you got all of these people in panic about AI, saying death to AI, we can't have AI? In Antarctica's ice is all of the data for world's technology. AI stands for Antarctica ice. If the planet heats up, which God is heating up the planet, AI dies.
I don't know about that, but if Nigeria trying to stick their flag there, I mean, does that make a little bit more sense on why what did happen in Nigeria? I don't know. I'm curious, man. Y'all let me know.
I am disturbed, for real. Like, very for real disturbed. I was trying to be healthy. That looks bad. Publix. Who usually has the freshest shit? Publix. Watch this.
Some space stations. These players are called farmhouse. Players in here.
Publix. Let's try another piece.
When these player-run corporations grow to become larger entities, they can merge with other corps to form alliances. Powerful alliances regularly compete for control and influence over large areas of space.
Smells like plastic.
Record-breaking battles. Even taking down well-defended, sprawling, player-built space stations.
Look like that. What is that?
In the spirit of exploration and mystery, experiences are constantly introduced into the universe, with over a decade of free expansions leading to continued development and evolution.
If this was real, it was supposed to burn super quick. It was supposed to be gone. Like, that was supposed to burn immediately. Vegetation, we know it burns fast. Ain't no way. He just got this. He just got it. He just got it. It's a freaking Caesar salad. From Publix. Bruh. A Caesar salad. From Publix. Caesar salad from Publix. This shit. Fucking Publix. Get all of this shit in here.
Its long, muscular body moves smoothly through the cold, dark waters, but its most striking feature is its enormous eyes, which can grow to about 30 centimeters in diameter. These eyes, the largest known in the animal kingdom, allow the squid to detect faint light in
This is the Peace Fountain, right next door. Look at that Masonic temple-looking thing. Huh, St. John's Divine? What do you got going on up there? 1892, huh? 1985, huh? Make it make sense. What the heck is going on here? Why is he making love to a giraffe? 1985. Make it make sense, St. John's Divine. There's a lot going on over here. Come on, St. John's Divine. What is that? Similar to Trinity Church? What was going on up there, man? What was going on? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Up on a hill? 1892? Sound off in the comments. Am I nuts? Got like a castle tower there, the Masonic Dome. Make it make sense, St. John's Divine. I don't know, St. John's Divine. Doesn't make any sense. Make it make sense.
So one of the biggest reasons why it's important to stay on this path over here at Yellowstone National Park is because the people who built it, right, know where the solid ground is. And the reason why I say that is because there are thin layers of crust here, right? You could step on off of this thing and start walking, and you could fall right through anywhere. As a matter of fact, there's probably a really thin layer right here. That's why it's important to stay on these paths here. Some goober fell in here one time. Pretty sure some of you might have heard about it already. And it took them like 2 or 3 days to pull him out of there, from what I heard. Somewhere around here. So that's why it's important to stay on the path here. Whoever built this, they know where the ground is solid. Anywhere but here. So stay the fuck on the paths. Right here is an example. There's a cave in, as you can see. You can see how it's real thin, right? But if that hadn't caved in, let's say you wanted to walk on this thing, you wouldn't suspect nothing, right? Look at that. That's a cave in. And that probably runs along that whole vein right there. Huh? Look right there. See that? Anyway, I'm going to keep going. You know, I wonder if you could cook something on that. Now, I've seen Steve-O on Jackass try to cook a steak on one of these, but didn't do it quite right. You got to get like a compressed cooker or something. You got to cover it up nice. You put it right over there, nice and easy. You got to let it, you know, the compressed cooker's going to have a little vent or whatever to let the pressure out, but in theory, if you do it right, you should be able to cook something on this thing. But we're not supposed to step off of this. So I'm pretty sure somewhere in the park, excuse me, my voice broke a little bit. Somewhere in the park, there's probably accessible areas like this.
If I make contact with the graves, wonder what I say. Kill everything that's moving about your planet, you should stay. Probably lock you up and reverse engineer your brain and use the anti-gravity to maximize on casualties. Know your planet dying if you came here, know it had to be your prejudice. Don't worry about that, least you ain't as black as me. Then again, you are a different species, won't be treated equally. If it's love you teaching me, we gon' trick you easily. Put your heart against your mind, put your mind against your body. Nuclear base booming on planet Earth, come to the party. Where the people who say they got me, it's only when they need the lobby. Where the rich gon' eat the poor and the poor won't be eating properly. Religious leaders probably sit you down and read you prophecy and talk about different scriptures like Nephilim, Anunnaki. What's your concept of God? Is there a concept at all? Have you been on this earth underground thinking you fall? I'll probably stay away from anybody with a camera. Kill them first cause they gon' kill you if you prefer them. Take your babies, put them in facilities to examine them. Stay away from business, it's business, but we won't stand on none. If you got the power, you should disable the nukes. Cause we'll kill us all before we make friends with you. We don't understand each other, we won't understand you neither. We'll still lock you up, even if you came to free us. Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, few healers and a lot of shooters. Lot of artists, but I'm the coolest. With a spirit of revolution, only live inside the students. By the time we get the working class, forget about the movements, forget about the politics. Let's talk about the common threads. In fact, we wanna live like you wanna, but we just not advanced. In fact, we need energy to survive. Down here we call it food. In fact, that God has really created me and created you. Different planets, same shit. Synagogues and slave ships. Bad vibes, shape shifts. Airplanes, spaceships. Y'all probably fight with each other, probably for different reasons. Down here it's color and money and different things we teaching. Like who's the final prophet? Who's the real God? Who had the hardest struggle? Who done killed more? Y'all probably make energy fields, we just build walls. Navigating space all this time, but we still lost. Ask the government for disclosure, we won't get no closure. Hover over, protect the space, we fear you getting closer. With some minority, but majority in poverty. Speech restricted, if I ever release this, they gon' follow me. Eat the rich, we are what we eat, then we ain't eating shit. Eat the rich, GMOs, kill me softly, bleeding wrist. Eat the rich, paupers that's deep entrenched. Eat the rich, audio portrait paupers that's deep entrenched.
What happened in December that TikTok is trying to hide? Everyone's FYP is out of whack, and we're all seeing videos from November or like the first couple of days in December that we've either watched or liked. Something's going on. So what happened in December that TikTok could try to hide?
On Christmas Eve in 2022, my dad accidentally took a very clear image of a ghost in the house that I grew up in. My friends have been pushing me for years to share this story. And after a recent holiday party, I was like, okay, fine. I will show the people what they want. I will also start this by a few months before this had happened. My stepmom had told us a story that she was looking at my dad standing in the kitchen and she could see a man clearly standing behind him. She described him as tall, longish hair, and wearing a plaid shirt. And she kind of blinked and looked away and looked back and it was gone. She told my dad about it. My dad was like, whatever, that's weird. And that was kind of the end of the story. Fast forward to December of 2022. This is Christmas Eve. Everybody else had gone to bed. And my dad, being the sentimental man that he is, he was just sitting out by the fireplace and looking at the Christmas lights on the tree, relaxing. And in the photo, you can see that he's kind of sitting back on the couch and he has his feet up on the coffee table. When he was out there, he took a picture of the Christmas tree, and I will eventually show you this image, but he took a picture of the Christmas tree and that was kind of it. Fast forward to the end of January, I get this image from my stepmom. I was honestly really freaked out by the picture because it's very clear that there is someone in the image that I did not recognize as someone that's ever been in my house. The only other people in the house was my stepmom, who is very short, and my stepsister, who is very skinny, and her son, who was a toddler at the time. I questioned her a bunch, and she basically said that she was swiping through my dad's images on his phone, and he hadn't gone back to look at those pictures and came across this image from Christmas Eve. So this was the image that my dad had taken. Prepare yourself for a jump scare, but this is nobody that I know. We have zoomed in on the picture, we have lightened it, we have darkened it, and you can see through the image, like you can see the blinds and curtains behind the figure. This is nobody that we know from our past. It's neither of my grandpas, but I will say that my stepmom said that the figure does resemble the man that she had seen standing behind my dad. I have sent this picture to multiple like paranormal societies. We're just very curious. We're not religious. We're not non-believers, but it's also super bizarre, and we just want to figure out, like, who is he? My parents have asked neighbors if they know of anyone that's died in the house. The house was built in 1969. They don't know of anybody that has died there. We knew the previous owners before they moved out. And I guess I'm just posting this to see if anybody can shed some light on this. I do have a girlfriend whose mom is a medium or in tune with the other side, and she got really bad vibes from this image, which is strange to me because to me the house feels very warm and cozy. I've never had any bad feelings there. And yeah, so this is a ghost that lives in my parents' house. We haven't really seen him since. There's no other pictures of him, but that's our Christmas ghost.
What y'all think? I'm thinking it's an energy attached to her dad.
How did that happen?
You're about to witness the real footage of the Sally House hauntings.
Oh, crap.
This story is about a demon disguised as a little girl.
There's a little girl that's standing right there.
Let's get into the story. Trigger warning, because this is a very scary true ghost story. Everything from the evidence to the sound design to the storytelling, doing this to let you experience the fear that these families went through. So if that's not something that you want to see, then this video is not for you. But if you do like that, then this video is perfect. It's 1992 in a small town called Atchison in Kansas. And it is here where we find a beautiful house. This house was built in the 1800s, and married couple Tony and Deborah Pinkman decide that they should move in. They just had a baby, so they built a nursery upstairs. But then the strange thing started happening. Doors flinging open. You take a picture of the door and something is floating in the doorway. The wax on their candles is going up. Not down with gravity, the wax is going up. The lights are flickering, and every picture that they try to take has these strange, blurry apparitions. Then they would discover the pentagram that resides in their basement. So at first, they just put up with this. But one night, Tony got home from work. As he walked upstairs to Deborah, he was suddenly hit by something that felt like a truck. It hit him so hard that he flew out of his laced boots. It then pinned him down to the ground. He was fighting to move, but he couldn't. And all Deborah could do was stand in silence because she was too scared to even scream. When Tony could finally stand, he felt his back burning. And that's when Deborah watched scratches form in front of her eyes. These would be the first of many that would scar him for life. And when this entity began to light fires on their newborn baby's clothing and items around the house, it became too much to bear. Later that night, they went to bed. But then they began to hear groaning and whispering. As they laid in the dark behind their heads from inside the wall, they would hear the tormented sounds of something. Then they would hear their door creak open, creak back shut. They could then feel the presence of something standing over them. They wouldn't get any sleep. Then they would hear their baby cry. But they were so absolutely terrified that they couldn't even stand to check. It's not just the fact that something is in your room, it's the energy that it carries with it. They would make it through these horrible nights. And during the day, every time they walked up the stairs, they would pass through this electric energy that was so powerful it would burn your skin. You would hear the pops of static and then feel a slow burn as it carved up your back, leaving deep in scratches. Now, this story is gonna have a part 2, and part 2 is absolutely crazy. The craziest paranormal evidence I've ever seen, because a crew comes over to investigate. A crew of skeptics, I might add. And they are all dumbfounded. Because as they talk to Deborah and Tony, they watch scratches form on his face. And everyone keeps getting shocked. As the cameramen walk around, their legs and hands are getting shocked. Words are getting carved into Tony. The things that they capture on audio and camera. This story is completely bizarre, and I am so excited to be sharing it with you guys. I'm just gonna leave it for part 2. Alright, I'll catch you later.
I ain't never heard of that story.
This reflection of a woman in the TV. Now imagine seeing that when you're working alone at night. This TikToker was working a shift when he noticed that there was a woman standing in the doorway, but only when he looked through the reflection of the TV. Check out the clip, it is absolutely horrifying.
Storming on and off all night. You can see there is nothing standing over here, right? But look. What the fuck is that? Like, this is me. Like, the satellite went out because of the storms, so it wasn't working on the TV anyways. And like, but there's nothing there. And like, I turned.
No, because the way that she kept getting closer and closer, are you kidding me? I don't know about you, but I would be quitting my job ASAP. Apparently this woman has been haunting him for quite some time now. So dude, good luck, because she's coming.
This is the scariest ghost video I've ever seen. So I first saw this video back in 2007 or 2008. And when I came across it, it absolutely terrified me as a kid. So the video starts off with a man hearing something coming from the hallway outside of his room. So he then decides he's gonna go check it out. Now, after he sees what appears to be an apparition on the floor, he decides he's gonna take another look. Now, whether if this video is real or fake, it doesn't take away from how creepy that imagery is. Imagine walking out of your bedroom door, and this is what you see.
Yeah, forget that, bro. Real or fake?
I don't know. It might be time for him to go as well. You never really know. So I say you just build off of those people. Was that a ghost? You never really know. So I say you just build off of those people. Was that a ghost? Yo, that wasn't even a person.
Junebug, chill out. I ain't got time for this.
Yo, did we catch a ghost on stream?
Bro, stop.
No, stop it. Stop
Junebug,
it. Run it
chill
back.
out.
I gotta
I'm
run
alone.
it back. I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at
I'm
it.
gonna go look at it right now because this is what?
Oh shit,
Bro.
What? Junebug, what happened?
That
What?
was not a person, bro.
What the fuck did y'all see? I'm not playing no more.
Nah, J-Rob, boy, what, so you just
I don't know.
agreed on...
That look like you might got a ghost, bro.
Bro,
I'ma
chill
just
out,
tell you.
bro.
Oh, nah, I'm lost right now. Wait,
Look at
so
this.
what-
All right, look.
Yeah, just watch the vid.
I don't know. It might be time for him to go as well. You never really know. So I say.
Oh, what's that?
Yeah.
The fuck was that? What the hell was that?
I say you just build off of those people.
I lived in a haunted farmhouse for 2 years, and I actually caught a ghost on camera with my first gen iPhone.
So first I'm going to show you the 100% unedited photo that I took. I went to get the mail and I turned around and I took this picture because I had just gotten my new car. So I took a picture of my car in the driveway. Then when I got into the house and pulled up the photo, I noticed something in the window. So I zoomed in here on the unedited photo. This is, I believe, the woman ghost. This is actually from the dining room, and I saw the top portion of her translucent body in there one time walking around. So I believe that is the woman ghost that was in the house. There's quite a few ghosts there. But you can see her face and two hands on the window watching me from inside the house. I didn't get really bad vibes from her. There was an evil presence upstairs near the master bedroom and bathroom. I can tell more stories about that if you want. There was also a child there who loved to play pranks on me and my mom specifically. Used to lock my mom out of the house constantly. Used to set the fire alarm off for me when I was home alone and then laugh when I ran upstairs. Let me know if you guys want to hear more stories. Some of it is triggering.
Why do kids, it always shows up as a kid, bro?
This one's gonna get me in trouble, I can feel it. A lot of pastors in modern churches, not all, but a lot, are in satanic cults. They're reptilian. There's a lot of problems, and I'm gonna show you a clip where this girl tells a very interesting story.
This girl said that she went to her grandmother's funeral and the preacher at the funeral was some type of weird evil entity. So in June of 2024, Elizabeth's grandmother passes away, and they always use the same home for their funeral homes for their family because they always do such a good job and they're always so kind. But this time, not so much. Because of this, she will never go back to an open casket funeral again. It was a small service. It was just her and her family and those who were close to her grandmother. Her grandmother wanted it to be small. Upon walking in, Elizabeth and her husband walk right up to the casket to say their goodbyes. She was blown away by what she was seeing. Her grandmother looked like a stranger. She had so much makeup caked on her face, and her grandmother never wore makeup, so she just kind of wrote it off as it was something she wasn't used to. Then she realized that they could see the caps underneath her eyes and the skin peeling off of her lips. It was so bad that her mother asked the funeral director to please fix it, and they tried fixing it and they couldn't fix it. Nothing worked, so they ended up just asking them to make it a closed casket. Now, like, that wasn't bad enough. This next part is wild. So as they're starting the service, the pastor walks up, he gets started, and they don't know anything about this guy. He's reading the script that her mother made for her grandmother about the life that she lived, and he's speaking very softly. But while this is going on, Elizabeth is getting a really weird feeling. She's staring at this pastor, but she cannot take her eyes off of him. Like, it's like an invisible force is intervening and not allowing her to take her eyes off of him. She said that she's never felt anything like it before. And while she's staring at him, he's staring at her, but he's staring at her intently. Like, it feels like he's staring into her soul, she said. He continues talking. He's mid-sentence while staring at her. He blinks. He opens his eyes back up, and what felt like an eternity but was only a second, she sees his eyes turn black and then these yellow slits in them, like kind of like a cat. He blinks again and it's gone. And she is like in shock at this point. She's like, what did I just see? So she's rubbing her teary eyes because she was crying, thinking that maybe she just imagined it. She's looking around the room like, did anyone else see this? But she doesn't see any reactions. So at the end of the service, her and her husband go to leave and they're walking out and they're both very quiet. Now, her husband is a skeptic, so she doesn't want to say anything at first. She's too scared at this point. She has to say something. So she starts to say, when the pastor was speaking, his eyes, he just cuts her off and goes, don't say it, don't say it. And then he goes, my jaw dropped to the floor. He then tells her, I think that's demonic. Now, this is a skeptic, mind you. And he's saying, I think we need to pray. I think we need to pray right now. So they pray together in the car on the way home and they never speak about it again. The next morning, she gets a call from her sister, and her sister tells her that her niece, her 14-year-old niece, had nightmares all night long and that she was coming into her room crying. And then her sister's like, and she's talking about something completely insane. So Elizabeth is like, what? What did she say? And she's like, she said that the pastor's eyes did something scary during the service. Her 14-year-old niece saw it too. At this point, she's like, this is real. This person wasn't human, or something in him was not human. So she tries searching his name up on the internet and she cannot find any information on this guy. He's not associated with any church, so she's finally like, Mom, where did you get this guy? And she's like, the funeral home recommended him.
The only thing in the Bible that functions how modern churches do were literally the synagogues, which we know, you know what I mean? Like, the only churches that were like Christian churches in the Bible were in the New Testament in Acts, when they were doing home churches where all of the believers participated and everybody like developed their gifts and there was an elder overseeing things. The way that modern churches operate is exactly like the Pharisees, and the seminaries are literally just the Sanhedrins. The Roman Catholic Church runs all of the churches, and it's like we've all forgotten that, like Roman Catholic Church. But anyways, so the synagogue of Satan, okay? Almost every time that Jesus talks to the Pharisees, he calls them serpents, you brood of vipers. Like he's talking face to face and calling them different things that have to do with reptiles. I feel like a lot of Christians think that like synagogues and Pharisees have to be Jewish, and that's just not the case. The modern version of synagogues and Pharisees are most modern churches. They are not following the Bible. They're enforcing man-made traditions. Like people have like a cognitive dissonance surrounding the idea of like the warnings that we got from the Pharisees. They think because we accept Christ that then you can do the same things just with Christ implanted, and that's not at all true. So if the Pharisees were serpents and the churches now are just like the Pharisees.
I don't need to debate any Christian. I was a Christian. I am a Muslim. If you want, I can give you both sides, easy. But he will ask you if you delivered the message. I'll play both parts. I'll be the Christian and tell you this, and then I'll be the Muslim and give the answer.
So if anyone's ever read the book, He Came to Set the Captives Free by Rebecca Brown, she used to be a high priestess in the Satanic Church, and she like came out of it and became Christian, and she wrote about her experiences. I think that they knocked her off before her next book came out, but that's another conversation. She talks about how a lot of the people that were in the Satanic cult would be like doing the sacrifices Saturday night and like all the stuff that they do, and then they would laugh because Sunday morning they'd be at the church preaching and or teaching CCD. And it's a hard conversation to have, but it's a truthful one in many cases, not all. I don't need to hear the comments about like, it's not everybody, because I understand that. We need to think about how a lot of pastors get in trouble. They don't really get in trouble for pedophilia, okay? And when they get caught doing it, nothing ever happens to them. We as Christians know that the world does not like Christianity, so the church isn't getting a special pass because like the world loves Christianity. They're getting a special pass because I think it's probably ritualized evil behaviors that they get away with because guess what? The police and everybody else is also in the Satanic cult.
My career in law enforcement, I actually joined the Brotherhood of Freemasons.
Yeah, how'd you get into that? How'd you get into that?
Man, you know, a lot of cops are involved with that.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It is. 95% of them do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what's the benefit out of it?
Like biblical history.
Oh, okay.
What intrigued me the most was they talked about King Solomon's temple and the Holy of Holies, and I've always been intrigued by it.
So this actually exists?
Yes, it does. It's the occult. It's not going to be messing with.
They have all types of connections. It lines up a little too perfectly for me, especially because that's exactly what her book details. I'm paraphrasing, but she said something to the effect of like, they would all joke and say that the police were their dogs. And she got really deep into the details about how like the reason that they do it is not only for like the laughs of it, but they have to know scripture really, really well. So they have to serve as ministers for at least, I think she said like 2 to 3 years in a regular standard church before they can be priests in the occult. So who knows? Are they reptilian and in the occult? Are they separate and just both doing it? I don't know. But people ask me all the time, like, what kind of church do I go to? I don't. I do a home church with a small group, and I study my Bible every single day, and I have a personal relationship with God. I don't like putting things through a filter, because to me, it's like, it's my relationship with God. I don't have somebody else orchestrating my relationship with my mom or dad. So why, you know what I mean? Like, why would I need to have somebody else do that with the most important relationship in my life? I don't, you don't. We have access to the Bible. And I also keep the Saturday Sabbath, which is what God commanded. Rome changed it to Sundays. If you have a really good church and there's no like issues, you don't feel like anything's off and they're biblically accurate, definitely stay there. But for me, just too many things that are like.
The interbreeding of humanity and how the accounts explain that these crossbreeds were put into the positions of royal ruling power, almost as like demigods, middlemen between the gods, the Chittahuli, the reptiles, and the people. Those bloodlines, in my own research, became the European royal families and aristocracy, and today are the ruling banking, business, and political and royal lines of the world. And the genealogy supports this increasingly. Is there a tradition also that the royal lines of Africa go back to the same source?
Please, you don't have to believe me. Go to Rwanda and there talk to the people there. They will tell you that the founding ancestors of their dynasties, the first kings who came from the sky, and they were called Imanugela, the ascending ones. Say, many African tribes believe that when the gods came down from the sky, they found human beings very, very stupid. And the human beings could not come before the gods in order to be taught. So what the gods did, and this is a story that you also find amongst the Dogoni people in West Africa, because the human beings were afraid of approaching these reptile gods. The reptile gods cold-bloodedly slaughtered one of their number and shed out its flesh with a specially gathered crowd of human beings. And these human beings then became the ancestors of our first great kings. Now say, African kings jealously guarded their blood.
If the royal lines of Africa claim descendants from the same source, basically, have those lines interbred as obsessively as the European aristocracy and royal family, and not bred outside of those lines?
Yes, sir. Royalty had to marry royalty. That was one of the strictest laws in ancient times.
Which is obviously where we get the term the divine right of kings from. It's not actually God, it's actually the gods.
Yes, sir, yes. Royalty intermarried with royalty.
Y'all remember that clip? Y'all with him or against him?
Yeah, religious documents, yeah.
Pretty hard to swallow.
It's very hard to swallow.
Saying basically that.
Do y'all remember Bob Lazar? It turned out that he wasn't lying after all, and his stories that he told back in the late 80s and early 90s ended up being true. This is for entertainment purposes only. Lazar talks about religion and the documents he read about humans being created by aliens. Religion is a very touchy topic, and this will upset a lot of people. But that's not the most interesting part. The most interesting part is when he talked about the human species being grown in a lab or genetically engineered. But you, be the judge.
Religion. You saw some other reports that you...
Yeah, religious documents, yeah.
Pretty hard to swallow.
It's very hard to swallow.
Saying basically that... basically that we're a product of genetic engineering from someone.
Yeah. How can you just swallow that whole?
Well, how can you swallow any of that stuff?
Well, it's easy to swallow things you can put your hands on and touch and then work with it. That's all. You get into a lot of spiritual stuff and religion, and you were brought here, and we were made by progressive corrections and evolution and that sort of thing, and where it shoots down a lot of the established religions, Catholicism, and everything that are essentially it's a tough thing to accept, and why, without hardcore proof, why even bring it up?
I guess the question more should deal with that you actually read a report that said this stuff.
Well, Yeah, the only hardcore thing is that there was an extremely classified document dealing with religion about that period. But why would there be any classified material dealing with religion? That's what other kind of classified? No, that wasn't the last thing.
I want to go back to the religion thing. I want you to say it.
Oh, come on, that's so weird. That's a lot.
I'm not asking you to say what you believe to be a fact. I'm asking you to say what you read in a report that is distributed at what may be the most top secret facility in the world. Okay.
All right, I'll say it. It's so far out.
All right, your objection has been noted.
Okay.
What does it say?
That we're containers. That's how supposedly the aliens look at us. That we are nothing but containers.
Containers of?
Containers. Maybe containers of souls. You can come up with whatever theory you want, but we're containers. And that's how we're mentioned in the document. That religion was specifically created, so we have some rules and regulations for the sole purpose of not damaging the containers. The souls.
Meaning,
well, the souls or the bodies or whatever, right?
Meaning like we're containers for souls that they're going to use at some other point.
Right.
And that they had something to do with different prophets and biblical figures.
Yeah. That supposedly Jesus and two other beings were genetically engineered. They were implanted in people on Earth in biblical times, and their births were closely monitored. Now, just some little connections to that my wife had brought up were in the Bible. They said that the star had followed Mary wherever she went, and that all UFO sightings always start out as people, well, gee, that looks like a bright star, and well, in fact, they said in the Bible, the brightest star in the sky followed her where she went, and it just made little connections like that.
Okay, teach me about the 8th dimension. Man, are you sure? This is where it gets a bit existential. You might not even understand it anyway. Oh, you will. So, a person living in the 8th dimension has a plane of all possible pasts, presents, and futures of every conceivable universe. Yeah, you said that for 7D, like Rick on acid, remember? The difference is, according to string theory, in the 8th dimension, objects do not have a physical existence. Think of it kind of like our digital world, where we can access all the information that humankind has ever known, but we cannot touch anything. Rather, we can only see and hear. But isn't that a limitation, since you can't actually materialize anything? Bro, nothing has ever existed that wasn't an illusion of your own mind. I told you this, nothing is real anyway. In 8D, you're entering the realm of pure information, where everything is just ones and zeros, mathematic sequences. Okay, so the 8th dimension is just virtual reality, huh? See, I told you you'd understand. Yeah, I get it. It's just a bit uncomfortable in my brain. Anyway, 9D next. Of course, the final one.
These last 2 clips about to piss some people off. Y'all know we made it to the end of this, and if you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you always notified whenever we drop them uploads. Y'all know we coming with about 4 videos very smooth 7, and this is for entertainment purposes as well. And when you like and comment and subscribe to the channel, helps Collective grow, helps Collective get bigger, helps more people who like this type of content tap in with this content. But I appreciate y'all. Love y'all, Collective. If you're watching on your TV, whatever the case is, I wish it was smooth 7. Again, celebrate New Year's, Happy New Year's. If you don't, it's all good. If you celebrating right now, bro, like I said, don't do nothing that I wouldn't do, bro. Be safe out here. Man, I love y'all. We're going to get 2026 rocking again. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll be dropping another one to get, because it's Thursday. We'll be rolling. We close out 2025. We built something special. We continue to build something special. Now let's continue to go into 2026 with that. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all, man. For real, I really do love y'all. And I hope y'all good. Even if it's hard out here, trust me, I had those days too. But we got this. We built for it. Till I see y'all in the next one, y'all know what it is. We gone.
I just check my account. Sheesh, at the amount. You probably know what